Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 22nd day, January. Got the Mad New Yorker backstage here. Going to talk. There's a new coaching hires, Jesse Minter. Minter got hired from the LA Chargers. He's going to be the Ravens coach. I think that's the biggest news story of the day. I'm going to talk about that. Get Mad New Yorker's thoughts on the national championship game. And, of course, go over some takes of the coaching hires, and of course this week's conference championship game. So stand by, folks. We will be back here shortly. Hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty, then. We're back here live. I'm going to bring in the Mad New Yorker. Hey, man. How you doing tonight there, Chief?
Woo. Doing all right. Thank you for having me on. It's a really nice night here in New York City. It's not as cold as it should be, but the storm is brewing. So
Yeah, same here, man. We got a massive storm heading this way, and man, I've gotten emails from apartment complex about power outages, what to do.
The mayor's like, stay indoors.
Is it going to be a lot of snow up there and ice?
So it's supposed to come down faster than it should, but I don't think it's going to accumulate too much. So I'm not a weatherman. I just know when they say it's going to come, I just sit and wait. If it shows up, it shows up. If old man Winter knocking on the door, you just don't answer. And if he doesn't, then you're like, hey, thank you for not visiting. So.
I've already got plans to do stuff on my days off. If I miss Monday and Tuesday.
We should do a show,
Do a show. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do, one probably with Richard maybe next week. Definitely do a show there. I got to get my man neighbor Roy's take on the Steelers. I had Ralph Williams on last night. Got his take, some insight on Mike Tomlin's situation. That was a great interview. So, yeah, it'll be some stuff I'll be able to do and not get too stir crazy, brother, because they're calling for a lot here. But the last report I saw was 2 to 4 inches. Some were saying 6 to 8. Then maybe 15 to 20. That was earlier this week. So our grocery stores got totally drained out. So now I'm going to wait till tomorrow because it was nice today. It's 48 degrees and clear.
Yeah.
So the grocery stores are, restocked. They made a lot of money this week on this. You ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Winners.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking like they got White Walkers walking around.
I know. Oh, don't worry. They'll show up here in New York. These people who want to go to work in McKenna, they just.
Well, in New York, you can just take the train, go underneath, and not have to worry about it. So, so the big news of the day, man, Jesse Minter. Yeah, got this guy was he was a defensive. He basically got an apprenticeship with both the Harbaughs. He coached for John Harbaugh. I want to say before 2020. I guess I should get my notes here and stop trying to wing this stuff. As a defensive coordinator, he's 42. He's a few years younger than us. And then he went and coached for Jim Harbaugh during the championship years with Michigan. And, of course, he followed Jim over to the Chargers. And now the Chargers, I want to say they're number 3 in overall defense. He's a very good coordinator. He's a lot better than I was wondering why these guys, since 2017, both Ravens, Michigan, won a national championship, defensive coordinator at defense. So 8 years under Harbaugh apprenticeship, both
brothers.
Didn't he play for the Rams?
Top 5 defense, yeah, the last 2 years. And considering the fact that the Chargers have lost Joey Bosa, they had to shred a lot of cap money, salary cap issues, and the guy's a pretty good coach. We'll see what happens. Everything's about what kind of coordinator he gets. But what's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so you're talking about a Chargers team that everybody talked about, that their offense was going to be, the ones that making all the fireworks, and it was the defense that kept them in the game. And this guy, he did a hell of a job. I would, you would call it the Chargers to keep winning, and I'm like, bro, I don't see it. And again, the defense was the ones keeping them in games. The offense was barely scoring 21 plus a game. It depend on the injuries on that O line and some into the running game. But it was that defense, and look, this is a guy who played football, who understands football.
Yeah, he actually played receiver in college, so I don't know why he went to the defensive side. It's kind of weird.
So, but he's he's done what he did, and he's been putting his time in, and he's look at if he. The fact that he got hired by a defensive team. I think the Ravens been a defensive team since
they became the Ravens.
They became because when they were the Baltimore Colts, they were basically like running on offense and chucking the ball out in the late 50s and 60s. So now that they're the Baltimore Ravens, that's what they hang the helmet on is defense, and that's a heck of a coach to get. And I know. From what I read about this guy and how he works and what he does, he's going to put a heck of a coaching staff around him too. He's not just going to let things fall wayside. And it sounds like he's going to have an opportunity to also voice his opinion. The Baltimore Ravens respect a lot of they give a lot of respect to their staff, the coaching staff. That they've had pretty decent coaching staffs in the last 20 years. A lot of guys have moved in coordinator positions to head coaching jobs. And I think this is an opportunity for this man to build something there in Baltimore. And he's not picking up a bad team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to a bad team. So I feel like, he'll be competitive and he'll do a good job doing that.
It may be the best hire in the cycle for what we know. I mean, I've been overlooking this guy. But the truth of the matter is, 8 years under Harbaugh. And look at Mike Macdonald. He's another guy that coached under John Harbaugh for a number of years. Now he's got a shot to go to the Super Bowl come Sunday. He's the head coach of Seattle, and he didn't poo-poo offense. He realized that Geno Smith is not going to be the guy. Right. They went out and got Sam Darnold, and now they got a shot to go to the Super Bowl. So Jesse Minter could very well be that same guy. McDonald also spent most of his career coaching under Harbaugh.
Now, here's a difference, though. A lot of people didn't talk about, and I've been talking about for 2 years, is that young defense in Seattle was close to being potent, and now they're clicking. Now they're not as young as they were raw. They don't have, but now they're smarter and just fast, and they're doing their thing, and this is going to be a team that they're going to have to watch out for, because again, I mentioned this 3 weeks ago. Yeah. You don't want to play this team, and it so happens right now they're in the finals, right? So
so you got two guys coming from the same type of tree there, and I think what's his name, Bisciotti there, the owner, he was pretty harsh about the way he went about firing John Harbaugh, and this guy both worked for Jim and John. He didn't hold that against him. The guy's 20 years younger. He's close to our age. And, he said, somebody asked him, a reporter said, well, sir, if they win that Pittsburgh game, is John Harbaugh still the coach? And he said, yeah, for a week. So he already made his mind up he was going to fire him. He's kind of like a mob guy. He's one of my favorite owners. He's the opposite of an Amy Adams Strunk or whatever. But speaking of Amy Adams, go ahead.
He made his mark, and again, this is a man who knows business. He's applied it to Baltimore many times, and he runs his team like a business and allows people to make decisions that are that are in the position it's supposed to be in. But at the end, he knows, and everybody knows who works for him, that he has the last word. So, I wasn't expecting Mike Tomlin at Baltimore for sure. I wasn't expecting that.
No.
But, so this is, again, a medium-sized, small market team doing what they have to do to make sure that they have a coach there for another 5 to 6 years. So,
yeah. And I noticed something was up when I read earlier that Mentor canceled his meeting with Cleveland.
I mean, there's a lot of guys.
It's a better run organization. It's from the top down right now. I don't blame him for taking it. Jeff Hatley has it's the defensive coordinator for Green Bay, takes the job with Miami. He was also, now he had an under 500 record, but he was also the head coach there of Boston College. They did have a winning record his last year, 7-6, I want to say, at Boston College. He takes the defensive coordinator job with Green Bay. Got their defense better, 11th as total defense this past year, and 6th the year before that. Michael Parsons got hurt. Clark got hurt. He's a fair coach. I just think that, the thing with Miami is I don't think a lot of people wanted that job, considering the fact the ownership's a little bit wacky. He's a little impulsive as well. And you look at the fact Tua got a big cap hit next year. You don't know if you really want to. I mean, Tua was benched last year by an offensive-minded head coach. You're going to be stuck with him. I don't know what I would grade this type of hiring. I think the expectation is going to be low because of the Tua situation. But what's your thoughts about that Miami hire, man?
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty incognito type of way to hide the fact that you don't want to spend money on a coach. I think it's a business move by Ross. Mm-hmm. I think that if they win next year, they win a few games, they're going to be maybe winning 8 games, even with the coaching staff, even if they get new players. Because the thing is, maybe Ross has a foot out the door and wants to get rid of Miami. And sell the team.
He said the other day that was offered $15 billion for the org. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
So why'd you sell it, dude?
Yeah, and I think he's just playing. He's playing his cards where he can not be spending too much money on the team, and because this is NFL, it's Miami, and a lot of not for nothing, but even if Miami's not doing well in the season, a lot of people go visit Miami just to see their team play. It's not like LA, but it's it's Florida, and when you're down there, there's always Jets fans that go visit in Groves. There's always Patriots fans that go there and visit by Groves, and then there's also when they sometimes a lot of teams that they play that the Dolphins play, they get excited and we can win this game, and they travel. Those teams travel to Miami because it's an easy get to be in Miami, and you usually be able to fly in, depending as long as there's no hurricanes. So,
if you go there during the wintertime, you got nice weather. Yeah, it's really cool in the championship game, but normally it's 70s, 60s in the January.
But I think this is just a way for him to just get off of the get some money off the books. What happens, and maybe he'll sell the team. He, like you said, he's mentioned it. He's already put a price tag. So he's probably he
was offered $15 billion and said he turned it down.
Right. Again,
maybe that was like a hint, like that's really the price tag. That's where you need to start.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So and then so we'll this it's not I'm not a bash the guy because everybody deserves an opportunity to coach and show what they can do. But listen, that coaching job. It's like Cleveland, right? The Dolphins and Cleveland job and Raiders jobs. Those are the ones that are even though they got top picks, those are not coveted, even though they're NFL jobs, because those jobs are rebuilds, man, and it's hard to go in.
In a lot of cases, they're never built. I mean, ever since Al Davis died, what success has Mark Davis had?
Yeah, but the first, he got Brady. Now Brady's going to try to put in and infiltrate his people
Yeah,
there.
I want to see how much he's actually going to have a hand in that, Tom Brady.
I think he's going to take a step back from the ownership of the soccer team, the football team in England, and put a little bit of time in the football team in the States. That's his main gig. That's how he made his bread and butter. And I feel like that give Brady 2 more seasons. That'll be his 3rd season, and you'll see that the Raiders are actually competitive. And it just didn't work out for him this year. Putting together this, he had that coach. He had a lot of young guys on the team. A few injuries, things didn't go his way, and but you got to turn over. You got to do things. It's the NFL. You're not gonna stay stuck. If you stay stuck, you're gonna be like the other teams, like the Jets in Cleveland. You just get stuck.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to hire. I'll tell you what, though, with Mendoza, I mean, they could be a big turnaround. The key is, though, who they're going to hire as I haven't even read about anybody of any notable name even interviewing for Arizona or the Raider job. And Mendoza would be a good selling point for me, especially if he's going to work out with Brady. And Brady's really going to put forth that effort to spend some time with him and help him with his footwork and everything. But I tell you what, Mendoza looks to be like a franchise quarterback. He can turn the whole narrative around. Now, you're in a division with Sean Payton and Andy Reid and Jim Harbaugh. That's murder's row. But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I think
both
sometimes
5-year contracts for Baltimore and Miami. Yeah, Chad, I think so, Chad. I mean, that's pretty standard in the industry. I don't see anybody going below that.
Right. But I think the last
$20 million, by the way, for the Giants.
Yeah, I think going back to Brady, Brady's not going to go in and coach and advise anybody on the field. I think that's where
I'm talking about him as a quarterback, like individual.
I think he'll go and talk to Mendoza and be like, all right, kid, here are the keys to the Cadillac. Do what you got to do. But I don't feel like he's going to be in there and be like, he's not going
to be the quarterback coach, but I could see him helping him out in the offseason. You don't see that?
I think he's going to be like Derek Jeter. Like, look, I'm paying for you to show up. You show up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's going to say that, but Brady said the other day, one of the games he was calling, I can't remember which one it was. It might have been that Bear game. But he says, I could still play if I wanted to. In other words, he's still working out.
Oh, yeah,
But talk is cheap. I mean, I thought he was going to bring in Shedeur Sanders, and he didn't. So I don't know how much Brady's just kind of BSing around, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
or if he's more serious this year.
I think for Brady, like Michael Jordan with Charlotte, like some of these guys who were the best of the best, they just step away from the game, playing it, but they're like investing. They don't want to go in and be like, okay, look, kid, you're a quarterback. Look, kid, you're a point guard. Look, kid. Because what happens is that then all of a sudden you hear this around the team. You hear this, oh, he's mentoring him. Oh, he's doing this. And so if the person isn't as successful as you were, you're going to get all that negative talk. Or if the person's great, they're like, oh, he's going to be better than you. So if you're an owner, a manager, a general manager, investor, whatever it is, you were the GOAT. You're not going into back on the field, the court, or anything else to talk to people. You'll tell them what it is. You'll be like, listen, I got my money on you.
But you think he's that kind of guy? I don't think he's standoffish like that.
No, I think Brady.
He said, "I would go up and introduce myself to the younger players."
Oh yeah, but that's
not trying to be like I'm here and you're here. No, he wanted to get to know him first.
Well, you both you and I had conversations about when you're here and you're here, you know where you stand. And I think Tom Brady and everybody who has any conversation with Tom Brady, including Davis, is like, I'm here, you're here, and listen, if I got money on this team, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna make it work. I don't think he's gonna be like giving these guys film or little tidbits on how they should practice. That's not what you're there for. And then and another thing is
I think he will.
This is the Raiders, bro. This is like they have a culture and they have a lot of history, but they need to make new culture and new history. So I think Tom Brady right now is I think that's his mentality. Like, what are we going to do with this team to move forward? and to create a new culture.
Because he knows the quarterback position. Now, we'll see what happens. I think he will work with Mendoza because I think Mendoza, one report I read that he don't even have a girlfriend. He's the star quarterback. I don't know if that's true or not.
If he can stay like Derek Jeter and do his thing, he's going to be okay. You don't need a bro. You don't need to have a spouse.
Derek Jeter didn't get married till he's like 40-something. I'm single at 40-something years old.
But Derek,
that being said, I'm not a freaking Major League Baseball player or a star quarterback.
You don't got a little black book and gifts to give to your friends after?
I got those gift baskets like Jeter. I was reading that when I was living up there. I had the little gift bags for the women.
Thank you for visiting. Exit to the left.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, okay, we got that out of the way. Titans, you follow the Titans. They hire Robert Saleh, former Jets coach. It was a major disappointment that they did not go offensive background. They like his leadership skills. He did do a good job with the 49ers. By the way, the Jets defense wasn't that bad. I want to say it was top 5 this last year, maybe top 10, but it was pretty good. I remember looking up the numbers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they had a good defense. Yeah,
it was not bad at all. Let me look at my Wednesday notes. I had some notes, I think, on him.
I think with Saleh, and we talked about this too, I think he was just let go too early. And there was just a lot of things with these players that were the expectation level and all that.
They were 3rd in yards allowed last year. He was fired. So now there are reports that maybe they might get like a Cliff Kingsbury or a Brian DeBall. Kingsbury's not seen as a head coach material. If they can get him for 3 or 4 years with Cam Ward, with all this money, that's a possibility that they can be a potential playoff contender next year. Maybe make a run like Washington. I gave a comparison that he's kind of like this is going to be like a Todd Bowles, Baker Mayfield situation where Bowles looked bad with the Jets, but he's pretty decent with Baker. And they'll probably get to the playoffs, but they're not going to get very far. What do you think about that hire as a whole?
I think one of the biggest things that we have to feel and understand about Tennessee is that they're in the AFC South, and right now the Jaguars and the Texans are both on the up.
Very good, yeah.
Indianapolis is, they did pretty well this past season, so I think it's the competitive mode that's there. I think it's going to be like the new SEC, and everybody's going to be trying to get that one position, right? The first place position, because if you go in second on a playoff run from there, you gotta visit somebody. It's going to be a tough call. So I think Tennessee, the Saleh is going to have that defense up and running to be competitive against all the teams. He's had experience being on AFC with the Jets. He has had experience now with San Francisco being in the NFC in the West, and they've played Seattle. They've played a lot of tough teams. The Jets, when he was a Jet, they played they weren't that good, but they played the Patriots and the Jets. So he knows what some of these divisions, what they have going. So, and I also feel like he's going to bring the Titans an opportunity by picking away at some of this tree of Shanahan, right? And even what's this guy's name in LA? He's going to pick up a few coordinators, a few guys from there for sure, and that's going to help the Titans. Look, the Titans need a new culture, new energy level, and this guy will bring new culture, new energy to the defense. Yeah. So what you're saying is correct. Who is he getting for the offense, and where is that going to take, and how is that going to balance them off? I think this is a better hire than actually what Baltimore has. What the Buccaneers have, because what the Buccaneers have is a coach who's focused, driven on defense.
Yeah,
and he's very quiet. He don't say
better than Todd Bowles. That's interesting. Okay, so it sounds like you're pretty optimistic about.
Yeah, because Todd Bowles, I feel like you should get stuff off of him, but I feel like the players get more off of Todd Bowles than the press and then the fans get to hear from. Todd Bowles is a great coach, but I think Saleh is he took a defense that was gutted by all these injuries and made them competitive and made them a playoff team.
Yeah.
So imagine what he's going to do with a team like Tennessee that has a bunch of youth and guys that are coming in and out and are hungry to get starting position. So I think it's going to be good.
Baines Fossil was staying. Okay, yeah, that's the special teams. That's not a bad special teams coordinator there. Also, you look at the fact that I want to say Jeffrey Simmons he was an All-Pro this year, the defensive tackle. You watched the national championship game, I'm sure. I watched it. There's an edge rusher there named Ruben Bain who was in the backfield all night long. There's some projections early on that he would go to Tennessee. You put him up there with Jeffrey Simmons under that solid coach in there. Their defense will be legit next year. Now they got the most money. They got the most money in cap room, $100 million plus.
Robert, here's the thing. This is what we have to be excited about. If Tennessee doesn't hit on a defensive player or even an offensive player in the first round, if they don't hit, you're talking about a guy that can motivate and promote guys from not just the backup, but from the practice squad and become better defensive players. So your defense isn't going to be the issue. Your offense, who you're bringing in and what you're going to put on the table, that's where the problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem that you got to make sure it doesn't start. You got to make sure you set yourself up for success. And I think him going back to San Francisco, getting back his mojo on defense and just getting he was a better coach this year in San Francisco. Think about that. He was the better coach. So now he's got to be like, okay, now I got to make sure my offensive coordinator is legit. So he's going to pick at that. He's going to pick at that Shanahan tree.
He's going to put a lot of effort into.
Yeah, he's going to get some good.
Cam Moore, because he realizes that he's a younger guy. He's not a C-man head, which is a lot of these older defensive coaches are stuck in their ways. He's got some flexibility about him. I was very disgusted when I first heard about it. Then I got to thinking, this may be an okay hire to a potential good hire. It depends on. I would love to get a Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury had an issue with the general manager, from reports I'm reading, at Washington. It wasn't like he was fired or whatnot, but like I told you, Colin Cowherd said his sources saying the guy Kingsbury is not good at holding players accountable. He's not the CEO type. In other words, he's just not head coach, but he's a great schemer. They almost got to the Super Bowl last year. I think that Cam Ward and Jaden Daniels, their skill set's very similar in college. So you could see that. Titans maybe need to add a receiver, maybe a tight end, definitely a tight end. And they had two receivers. One of them made the Pro Bowl. Dyke did. And Alomar, he's a good possession receiver. Of course, Calvin Ridley, maybe upgrade that a little bit. Right. I wouldn't go too crazy though and adding too many big names on the offensive side if it's me.
Look, they have the draft to go and get,
Chad.
other tier players there, and if they do that and build from that, they'll be okay. If they just go and try to get a one-off superstar college player, it's gonna bite them, man. Yeah. And and I'm not, just because I'm, a lot of times you hear me say, oh, sell. This is one of those opportunities for them to sell, but then get more for less. And you have a motivational type of coach there. So, and so that's the thing. Sometimes your hungry players are going to share, not like your superstar that just wanted his own plate. So I feel like he can bring that to the Titans, at least the first season, to build off from. So
it's interesting to see how it'll play out there. Okay, I'm surprised you had that take on it. A little closer to what I was thinking. We shall see. Got to get your thoughts on the national championship, man. It's a good game, by the way.
Great game. I thought that Indiana was going to make it poor, but it was good to see that Miami was competitive. It was good to see that they tried to use that running game.
Did you think that Miami may win this game at some point?
No.
The speed of their defense and how fast they was getting in the backfield.
So the first quarter and the second quarter, that defense kept stopping the run and kept making it hard for Miami to get off of the third downs and making it long, third and long.
You mean Indiana?
I'm sorry?
You mean Indiana, right? Are you talking about Miami's defense?
Yeah, I felt like Indiana's defense was making Miami's offense really struggle.
Okay. All right.
So I was like, All they got to do is keep up this same kind of mentality, right? The defense, but then Indiana just got to keep this defense up, But then all of a sudden, Miami's defense was kind of switching it up, but the offense never transitioned and been like, we're gonna make, our defense did well. We're gonna try to use that, and then they waited too long. They started running the ball in the third and fourth quarter. It was too little, too late, So Indiana had enough of gas left, and they had a decent running game, and Mendoza was making good throws, and so that kicking game helps a little bit too when you're not missing field goals. So
what'd you think about that 4th and 5 call by the coach? I told the audience I would have kicked the field goal, went up by 6, but hey, listen, Cignetti's he's got a lot of nerve, man. This guy was totally fearless, calling timeout. Mendoza does the quarterback sneak for a touchdown. I thought that was a nervy call, and ironically, he felt the momentum of that Miami team, because remember, Miami went right back down and got a touchdown. So if I'd been coaching, I might have been down by 1, but I knew I had a big time quarterback. Either way, great call there. What do you think about that call?
Yeah, and again, I think that he's going off of these kids and their motivation and their like he knows what he has as a team, and he played right into them, right into the heart and soul of this team. The team was always, everybody who's seen them was, oh, they're not going to beat Oregon. They're not going to beat Georgia. They're not going to. This team is
right
and played their heart out every single game to every single minute. So they was always like called second tier, and they was given the underdog, most of the season. And I feel like this was the best balanced team in football this year. And they deserve to win. Remember, we called
it. And then and did you see the game day people I sent you? Just me, you, and Pat McAfee. Everybody else picked Miami. They still didn't believe in Indiana all the way up to the last game.
I know, and the thing was, they had these people, sportcasters, fans. They had it okay. It was okay to choose and try to pick Miami. Miami was faster. Miami was bigger. Miami.
It felt back like a Patriot team playing like the Seahawks back in 20. That Seahawks team was much faster than that Patriot team.
But what Miami didn't have was that record, right? And that mentality. Because Miami had to keep fighting to win. They wasn't the best team in college football. Miami got an invitation, right? Yeah. So they was going off. Indiana was and is the best team in the nation. So they had an easier way to be motivated, and their coach didn't have to do or say anything because they was able to self-motivate themselves on the field. You seen these guys running crazy, stopping Tooney, stopping these running backs, and they not big. They wasn't bigger than Miami, but they stopped them.
They were more fundamentally sound.
Yes, the fundamental. This is like one of those teams that it wasn't the bigger, badder team won. It was the most sound team, the most motivated team,
and
the team that worked the best. Right, a team that worked the hardest won. And that's, as a football fan, I was appreciating. I was like, you know what? I really didn't give them that much credit. And by the time I saw them play the 10th game of the season, they were into their division and everything. I was like, yo, this team is legit. This team is like proud. Indiana fans, y'all deserve it. You backed your team up, and they proved it. They proved it was being proud and being motivated to be the best, to try to do your best. You don't see that a lot anymore. You just see these teams. I'm not going to say that
football's at a very good state right now.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they didn't use NIL and they didn't bring this coach in from. I'm not saying
they didn't. These guys were cast-offs. Remember, he was turned down by Miami. Mendoza's from Miami.
Mendoza said they didn't even allow him a practice squad position.
Right.
He said he wasn't even allowed to be on the practice squad. I was like, so with everybody's individual story as a whole, the University of Indiana, they put out a team, and that team you can make an example of now. Now, if you're Vanderbilt, now if you're Arkansas, Ole Miss, you could be like, listen, that team made it. We got an opportunity to make it. We just got to do.
Vanderbilt's got one of the top players. I think the number 2 quarterback in this particular class. So maybe 3 years from now, we're talking about Vanderbilt potentially winning a national championship. Right
they was on their way this year, but
yeah.
But look, I'm not just going to talk about SEC teams and saying that they're the only ones that could do it, but he just went out there, and it wasn't like the same, like a Saban Alabama team that has everybody was 5-star, even their practice squad got 4 or 5 stars. It wasn't the Georgia team that was able to.
We're in a different era than that, man.
Yeah,
NIL changed all that.
It was guys that believed in the coach, and the coach believed in the players, and they all played. Look, remember I was talking.
Yeah, Beck will get drafted, but it'll be later, man. You can see they try to keep the ball out of Beck's hands.
Yeah, that was another
I don't
thing.
like those tattoos on Beck. It tells me he's a party animal. And the quarterback, Diego, he might get drafted late as well. He was at the, but Diego's very, very short, so he's probably going to be a backup guy, maybe a practice squad guy. It's not a good year for short quarterbacks. I mean, look at Kyler Murray. Bryce Young had a decent year, but Tua got benched.
Yeah, this win for Indiana kind of reminds me of one of those Oregon teams a few years back that was really good.
Yeah,
they just were one injury, two injuries because of the O-line and the D-line and a defensive player, and they weren't able to have enough depth. But this was like one of those teams that you're like, oh man, they're winning every single game. They're going to win the championship, and they actually did. So, kudos to Indiana,
I was
man.
a little nervous. I'll be honest with you. I thought maybe Miami could win it. And
I'm not going to say I wasn't nervous.
Beat Richard. I didn't want Rich to actually be the one to pick Miami in the championship game. But we're running out of time, Chief. Got to get your thoughts on Buffalo NFL. Was that a catch or was that not a catch? Buffalo Denver.
Listen,
the Brandon play.
Yeah, I felt like that was a catch, but I mean, listen, I'm not a big Buffalo fan, and I
thought it was a catch too. Okay,
I'm not saying that because I'm not a fan. I always come on the show and I always say that Buffalo will never win a championship with Allen on the team, because of the money situation. But now they're moving on to a new coach. I'm not sure if that could change their situation. But what incredible playoff games this past weekend.
Buffalo, like I said the other day, they outplayed them. That being said, you cannot turn the ball over 5 times and expect to beat anybody. Or 4 times if you count that as a catch.
Right.
You got to look at Bo Nix turned it over once between Cook and the other interceptions or the fumble there by Allen. 4 interceptions, man. You're below 20% chance of winning. And
Hey, listen, did I catch up 2 now?
No, you won those 2 Saturday.
Yeah, I did.
I won the 2 on Sunday. I was up 4.
So you're still up 4?
I'm still up 4 with 3 games to go. It was a great season. Chad, I have won the championship again.
Good job. Like, hey, listen, I want to see it in not a bad sport, man. We do this for fun.
It was. So, that was a great game. Seattle, good call there. I said there's a possibility that Frisco could simply be out of gas, and Solis has got everything out of that defense. And if they score first, and by the way, I did actually bet a prop bet. Rashid Shaheed, the punt returner, but also plays receiver, would score a touchdown. So I was ticked off about the loss, but I won $25 on him scoring that touchdown there, Shaheed, for Seattle. Seattle looks primed and ready. We just talked about Mike McDonald, another guy who worked under John Harbaugh there for years, coached under him for years. The oblique muscle issue did not bother Sam Darnold. He didn't get a huge day. He didn't have a huge day yardage wise, but he got a nice little few passes down the field. to JSN, and I think he's going to be okay. What's your thoughts about that game, man, and how they played Seattle?
I texted you and I was like, "Yo, man, this is garbage, bro. They didn't bring the game." And when they beat them 2 weeks ago, or was it 2 weeks ago? When they beat them 2 weeks ago,
it's a close game. Yeah, 13.
Yeah, I was like, "This is not. They're not going to play the same." And it was, San Francisco had way too many injuries. They couldn't find any balance. The defense was okay. But the defense for Seattle was a lot better. And then they ran the ball like crazy, which helped them open the game up a little bit. And it was amazing. Even the run backs on some of these punts were like San Francisco couldn't stop them until they got into the zone, closer to the zone. So, I mean, I was sitting there and watching it. And my son's like, "Why are we still watching this game?"
It was kind of boring,
Yeah, because. And I was like, you don't know. And I was like, how many touches they down? And I was like, there's 3. Now there's 4. Now it's 5. When I said it was 5, I was like, this game's over. It was like the third quarter, the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter. I was like, this game's over.
Yeah, they're playing good at the right time. And kudos to Seattle. Hey, listen, what's your thoughts about? I didn't really mention this the other day, but CJ Stroud. I told you we talked about his fumbles the week beforehand. He had the 4 interceptions this game. I blame a lot of that on the offensive line. He have some issues that he's got to work on, his footwork and his swag. But I'm not out on Stroud. The guy's been in the league 3 years, 3 playoff appearances, 3 first-round wins. I think maybe – plus they didn't have Collins in that game. I still say he's got some room to grow. But some people seem to be out on Stroud. What's your thoughts about that game? Kind of sloppy, too. A lot of turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, when we saw Daniels, and then not Daniels, was this guy from Washington.
Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, we said him, and then we see Stroud, what he did the first year. But then the second year, you're like, what's going on? I think his confidence, man, because of the O-line not being sturdy.
Yeah.
The lack of plays, maybe they cutting the play short on him, so he can't be as creative as he wants to be. And then you see that the running game isn't it's okay, but it needs to be better. It needs to be more consistent. And I like those kind of things. They don't give him any motivation to get better. So I feel like this guy that came out and played backup had a better connection with some of the wide receivers than he had with them. And I feel like maybe when he got injured, guys are just like, I don't know if he's going to be 100%. I think maybe more guys on his offense gave up on him than he gave up on them.
He's eligible for extension. Would you extend him next year? Or would you let him?
Yeah, I would definitely extend him, and I would also try to just stiffen up a little bit of that line, and I'd also try to find him some more tools to work with in the running back position. Even bring in.
Woody Marks was just a rookie, and Mixon was hurt.
Yeah,
that's the downside of having a defensive-minded head coach. I love what I forgot the head coach.
I would keep him first before I would trust Love. I would keep him before I would sign Love.
He's better in the big games.
And another thing too,
I know he had a rough night last Sunday.
I would definitely
probably take him over Love too.
I would definitely put in a fullback for sure. Like give him a fullback, because what you do is that you give him a fullback, you get that running game going, and he hadn't run the ball the right way since the first year he played. Like he ran the ball like in diagonals the first year, and this year whenever he's looking and he can't find a pass, he just running straight and seeing gaps, but they're not really there because in football those gaps close quick. So I feel like he hasn't been running to the sideline as much in the last 2 seasons that he did the first season. So,
yeah. And you know what? That's a good point. Maybe they should extend him and get the better number, because the longer you wait, that number's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's a humble guy. I would have a talk with him. There's some speculation that he might not want to play in Houston, but for DeMeco Ryans, I have to find that out. I have to have a heart-to-heart with him from the general manager.
Yeah, you could just see his confidence level after his injury wasn't the same. He wasn't the same. He just wasn't. He was
Oh, he got injured earlier this year, didn't he?
Yeah, he's holding on the ball too long. He's trying, instead of having football come to him, he was trying to go to the football, and it's like that's not how that happens, man. You got to, get in sync with your wide receivers. You have to be, your running back has to be there for you, make that block or be there to catch the ball. Like those things were not in sync.
Yeah.
It just didn't look like he was in sync, and maybe bringing a new offensive coordinator. I'm not sure, but I would.
Well, they've already traded one. They got rid of Slolik last year.
Yeah.
And some thoughts maybe that maybe Stroud was the problem, not the Slolik, the offensive coordinator. So that's something you got to figure out. But every time I see him making throws and making plays.
The guy can throw. He's got an arm.
Yeah, I just don't get a sense that he's just a guy that is totally lost out there. I see guys that have bad days, but
Right.
it seems like he shakes it off there.
And the thing is,
I'm
after
not
his,
as down on him as everybody else, and normally, I'm pretty down on these guys.
and the thing is, after his first year, every defense, everybody had a tape on him after his first year, so he needs to progress and do things differently. He needs
Yes, that's true. Yes.
he needs to do things, and so I feel like he just got caught on a team that really was not built for him in the same way. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation to have. I would lean on try to keep the guy.
Yeah, he's not.
Back. Man, I got to ask you that Bears game. Wow, what a game there. I tell you what, Caleb Williams, it's just like a putter, man. Like a golfer, he's got to work on his short game. A lot of these players do. He's got to work on the check downs, the easy routes. But you can see the talents there with him. We saw the skill positions with the Bears are there. The Bears, all they need to do is add a little bit to the defense and let him get another offseason with Ben Johnson if he'll actually listen. I don't see why they can't be a Super Bowl contender next year. What do you think about that game and his play?
Listen, the Bears, I think they played all right. I think they struggled making first downs more in this game. That Rams defense actually stepped up.
Yeah, they did. I didn't think they had it in them.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I thought the Bears were younger and fresher and been able to push this team, but the defense was played out, and then whenever they needed it, Puka would make the catch. Right, they'd be like 3rd and long, and Puka was there to extend plays and make catches and extend the series. So, what do you like? You have to do when you're with a team like the Bears, you can't play the other team's game. You have to play your game. And I feel like they were like trying to see what the defense was going to do more than they just attacking the defense. And Williams, he don't give the ball away much anyways. So but when you run inside,
key turnovers in this game, didn't he?
Yeah, I know. When you run in sideways and not going forward and towards the diagonal to, you're not gonna. It's tough. And man, I just wish the Bears had like two more possessions, and then But hey,
the Bears could have went for 2 when he got that big play, which was a great highlight play. That touchdown to what's his face, Cole Kmet to tie it at the very end. Should they have went for 2 there or went for the extra? Because my point is, if they go for 2 and miss it, the Bear fans are really going to let Ben Johnson have it, man.
There was no wrong or right answer. What happened. This was a close game. If they would have done anything, it would have been in the first and second half. They should have attacked the Rams more, put them on their heels. But they stood there and let the Rams get into the game. The defense was holding up well for the first 2.
Way better than they normally have been all year. Talk about the Bears defense.
But the problem was they couldn't score those games. They got up to the 20-yard line and the Rams put it on them, and they couldn't get into the end zone. So, but that was. I felt like I watched the Chicago Bears of like 8 weeks ago, where you're like, you're gonna beat this team. You're playing good the first and second half, and all of a sudden, the third or fourth quarter, you score maybe 1 touchdown and you do a field goal, but that's still not enough because the other team scored 14 points, and you're like, you guys were in the game,
And here's the thing: they didn't have their left tackle, so they moved Joe Thuney a guard to left tackle. He plays great at left tackle. And all this issue with teams not having their left tackle, right tackle, the Chargers, for example, you've seen it come up with the 49ers or Trent Williams. It goes to show you, if you put a lot of money into the guards, they put a lot of money into this guy. He comes over from the Kansas City Chiefs, and he played really well. And that's something these other teams need to take notion with and say, hey, listen, not only do we need tackles, we need guards who can play left tackle. And right. So now we're going to spend that much more money on that side of the ball rather than these flashy wide receivers and pay some egomaniac. By the way, Brandon, John Lynch said today he's played his last day. Was it today or yesterday? He said he played his last down with the 49ers. So what do you see that aspect of it? Is the line is even more important.
Yeah, of course. And it's not just a blocking scheme. Remember, like the Bears, what they did with the tight ends was create that bubble and they were able to do the RPOs, right? And in the last few games that got them above and beyond and got them in the end zone. And all of a sudden they didn't play that. They didn't play the RPOs. They didn't, they was trying to run the ball to try to get Caleb going and stuff. And then he would go backwards a few of some of these plays. And you're like, no, don't go backwards. Throw the ball or run 2 or 3 yards and slide, so I think I feel like that offense was trying to play off of what the defense was going to go and not just push the envelope. And
well, give the other team credit. Definitely the Rams played out. They ran the ball. They got away from the pass. They started running, unlike Green Bay did. They said, "Wait a minute, we're going to give it to Kyren Williams because they got this pass lined up." And of course, we saw.
But it was good to see some Bears defense, man. It was the first time I saw the Bears play like that since like the mid '90s when they had Brian Urlacher and they had that shell defense. Man, it was good to see, man. To be honest,
pretty good. It was pretty good. So, what's your thoughts? I guess I'll go first here. New England. We'll go to the conference championship games. Bo Nix is not going to play. He's got the fractured, but Stidham is not a bad player. They played him quite a bit of money for a backup in the offseason. Sean Payton saw something he liked in Jarrett Stidham. Also, ironically, a former Auburn quarterback there. Auburn University gets some shout out here in the NFL. I tell you what, man, I think they're going to keep the game pretty close. It's going to be played in Denver. Weather's going to be good. Expect Sean Payton to throw out everything. I mean, trick plays, you name it, man. Making guys. I think the offensive lineman scored a touchdown last week for Denver. That being said, I do think obviously New England win this game. It's a 4.5-point spread. I think it's 25-17. Patriots do win, but this ain't gonna be no giant blowout, I don't think. What do you think about that Denver New England game coming up Sunday, man?
I think this is gonna be a close game. I feel like the defense is gonna knock out this guy. He's gonna stay in the pocket 1 second too long. This defense is gonna find him, probably knock him out for a couple.
They're gonna knock Stidham out?
No, May.
Oh, May.
Okay. I think this kid's gonna get hit because he's overconfident right now. He's, this is his first playoff season, so he's overconfident, and sometimes that's not good. And I don't think that the Patriots and this guy coaching, he's great, but I don't think they're giving him the Broncos the credit that they deserve. And I think this Broncos defense is going to come out. They know they lost their captain, but they're going to come out and play for the Gipper.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep this game. It's going to be close because of it's not Bo Nix, but Stidham's not bad. He came in for Russell Wilson a couple years, last year, so he has a little bit of experience. He hadn't played much this past year, but this is an opportunity too. Like if he wants to get a new contract next year and be a starting quarterback, this is an opportunity for him. So people kind of forget that, like these quarterbacks, they don't want to be backups. They want to be starters. So Stidham goes out, plays the game of his career. he's gonna do what quarterbacks do, is keep it close. This defense is gonna help, and I feel like the Patriots are just too green, just a little bit too green. The running game is unbalanced. Derek May's done well with the tools that he has, and he's given even Booty an opportunity to be a good wide receiver. I'm not saying that he's a bad one, but so
you're calling for Denver to win?
Yeah, this is going to be, I believe it's going to be 28-23.
Okay, yeah. I mentioned this Monday, and I had to look that up when he was talking there. Phil Simms got hurt in 1990 before the Super Bowl.
Jeff
Hostetler stepped up. Yeah, you remembered it right. I had to look it back up. He won the Super Bowl. And remember, Brady, when he was on his first run to win the Super Bowl in 2001, he got knocked out early of the Pittsburgh game. And, of course, Drew Bledsoe comes in. And
no. Was it Drew Bledsoe?
It was Bledsoe. Remember, Bledsoe got knocked out.
He got knocked out.
He got knocked out. Brady comes in.
Yeah.
Brady does all the big plays. He does a Tuck Rule game. Brady gets knocked out of the Pittsburgh game. Something happened. Then Bledsoe comes in. And, of course, we know Brady comes back for the Super Bowl and against the Rams and win. Of course, we know about Nick Foles winning this. So it's not totally unheard of for Denver not to get to the Super Bowl. I just don't care for Sean Payton. I made a little video about that, a clip, and of course, people giving me crap about it online. Sean Payton talking about Jackson. He took a shot at the Jaguars before the game. They're a small market team. I can't believe they're playing this well. Took a shot at them, and of course, Liam Cohen said, "Well, that's pretty good for a small market team, huh?" After they kicked their butt by 2 touchdowns. He took a shot at Russell Wilson for no reason. What else did he do? He did something else that really ticked me out. He's got a smart mouth on him. He's kind of like Greg. Oh, he said this past week, not this week, but before the Denver game or the Buffalo game, he told a guy mentioned downhill running, one of the reporters, and he's like, "What do you know about that?" Like being smart with the young guys, very Greg Popovich-like, I don't. Some people saying that's just, him being funny in his own way. I don't know. I thought he's being a jerk. So, yeah, go New England for that matter. And I kind of like to see Vrabel stick it to Amy Adams Strunk, the owner here in Tennessee. She's really getting on my last nerve. So, what's your thoughts on – I'll let you go first this time. What's your thoughts on the NFC Championship game, which I think is going to be really good?
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for the first –
Round 3. Yeah.
For the first half. Like the first half is going to be good, but I feel like Seattle is their defense is this isn't the Bears defense, man. This isn't like the Rams defense. This is a good defense. In fact, I feel like their defense might score 2 points in this game. Maybe a safety and maybe a fumble with the run. So I got Seattle, man. I like Seattle. They're good right now. I don't think the Rams coming off of a tough game.
2 tough games.
So I don't
with that.
Yeah, and I don't think their running game is rested. I don't think the O-line can hold up anymore. And I'm gonna go with the youth over the age. And but look, this guy he always surprises me, man. I haven't really been a backer of this quarterback, but if he wins this game and he hits the Super Bowl, he's definitely already a Hall of Fame quarterback already to me. Even though Stafford, yeah, I don't.
That's about Darnold.
No, Stafford. I've always bet against him, and he's always won, except for when he was with the Lions. So whenever I bet against him with the Lions, I won that. But when he moved over to La La Land, he's always been able to come forward, and the Rams have gotten their money's worth from getting Stafford on that team.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I think that he will be in the Hall of Fame.
What's the score in that game?
I think it's going to be 32-21. I think that Seattle's going to win.
Yeah, that could very well be true. Seattle, let me go back to these notes here. I'm sure I got all my ducks in a row here. I got so many notes here, man. Obviously, that Seattle's 2.5-point favorites should be. Last two games, wow, 3 points separated these two teams. Again, we talked about the last. They had the overtime game. The Rams did. They had to go to the east to play Carolina. They had to fly back to LA. Then they flew to Chicago, playing that god-awful cold game, go into Chicago, play in overtime, and they get a less day's rest, and they fly back. So there's a chance this could be like the 49er game, except they'll give it a little bit more punch back. We saw what happened 49er game. It was 41-6. Seattle wins. But this particular game, Sam Darnold, the oblique did not seem to affect his throws downfield. I think this game will be Seattle 27-20. The Rams, Seattle picks off the Rams at the very end. And that's showing a lot of respect for the Rams. This could be a total blowout by Seattle again. But we'll see. Now, one thing about Seattle, Charbonnet is hurt. He got hurt for the season. He's done, but that's just a running back. I think Kenneth Walker will be okay. Yeah, he'll be fine, and I think it'll be okay. And they got a pretty shaky secondary, although they do make plays. Talk about the Rams secondary. So Seattle, Mike McDonald, we was just talking about him, and Sam Darnold. What a story that would be from a guy who was a cast-off from your New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers, and a really upsetting, disappointing playoff run. Can potentially be in a Super Bowl with another team, with Sam Darnold, if that happens. And, of course, Bobo on outstanding catch there. Chad,
that's my guy right there.
Tease you about Bobo. I mean, now it's JSN and, of course, Shaheed, super fast demon guy. I love his speed there. So I'm thinking Seattle, New England in the Super Bowl. That'll be interesting. I would like to see the Rams get back. I love that Ram offense. I like Puka. That would be fun to see the Rams play New England again. That'd be round 3 in our lifetime that those two teams have played. But this one will be a much more interesting, fast-paced Super Bowl. That would be fun. So anything else you need to plug?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in baseball right now. A lot of moves.
Yeah. Do you think baseball should have a salary cap? There was a lot. The Kluber signed with from the Chicago Cubs to the Dodgers, and there's a lot of talk about that. A lot of people ticked off. The owners are ticked off about that.
Yeah, I mean, and then the Mets signed Bo Bichette after the Phillies make a deal with him. Listen,
I've been saying salary cap would be good for 25 years, ever since the Yankees went on that run in the late 90s and early 2000s. But
I mean,
I believe stuff when I see it with baseball.
Right. And the problem is that some of these teams, the amount of money that comes in just for four of the major teams here in MLB carries half the league, so 3/4 of the league. So, if you put a cap, what you're going to do is
we'll do, Chad. I know we've got a big storm having here. It'll be the end of the world, like a snow globe.
What will happen is, like, you'll see a parity, but then you'll see they'll flip again, because these teams have a way of stacking players anyways, whether it be in the minor leagues or getting them.
It would probably still be the same, maybe, because some teams just have better management and they're just better run organizations. I mean, your Yankees spend a lot of money. The Mets spend a lot of money. They don't get a lot done, not lately anyways.
Yeah,
how much the Padres have spent.
Yeah, and even at one point, remember when the Angels spent so much money on Ohtani, and then also had what's this guy over here? I
forgot his name too now.
Trout, when they got, they were still paying Trout.
Pujols, they spent a lot of money on him.
Yeah, so just because you spend a lot of money doesn't guarantee you wins. It guarantees you an opportunity, but baseball is so difficult, man. Sometimes you pay for these guys, and they have a bad season. They come out, instead of being an all-star season, they'll have a good season, but you're not paying for a good season from a player. You want them to play the best, the very best that they can. So it's
tag me with that if you do put together that show, man.
Yeah, I've been trying. Like, I just I got back from from Toronto on Sunday night, and
Yeah, how'd your son do?
he did the same that he did last year, which is not a which is so. But he did get an opportunity to play two of the top 20 in the world, two players from the top 20 in the world. So he got a little bit of competition in there, and I feel good that
he's experience of playing them. That's good.
Yeah. So but he's looking at the bright side of things, and he's looking on to our next trip to Orlando. Hopefully, we can go to Orlando. The next one's in Seattle, but he's going to Spain on a school trip. So I'm not sure. Orlando will be in April, either the last week of March or the beginning of April. So.
Okay, so you get like a spring break thing.
Yeah. So hopefully we can go there, and then we'll definitely be heading to New Orleans in the summer. Well, this time I'm gonna take the family. So yeah.
Bad New Yorker, everybody.
Let's go.
All right, brother, appreciate you.
Hawks and Broncos. Let's go.
Yeah. New England.
I need a win, man. I need a win. I've
already won the championship, but you just want this for bragging rights.
I just listen. 2 is 2. You know what I'm saying?
All right, buddy. Have a good weekend, man. Be careful. All right, everybody. I will see you next week here. We'll record a show Monday morning, but also I may be able to get some interviews in and put some new content. Rich Ferris from Titans Radio, Cumulus 104.5. We're going to get his take on Robert Saleh and more. I may have some more surprise guests coming up this week, especially if I'm snowed in. So have a good night, Nashville. Be careful out there. Like Chad said, hunker down and be safe. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, here on The Real Estate.